Since I've started in the short-term rental business, the social media space has in general been saturated with videos that say that basically Airbnb and VRBO in the short-term rental game is super easy and it's a really great way to get rich quick, and you can do it remotely, and it's just, not that big a deal. You don't have to have much knowledge of building or houses because everything is going to take care of itself, or people are going to take care of it for you. And so today I want to give you guys the 3 hard to swallow pills that I think everyone needs to know about investing in Airbnbs and short-term rentals and VRBO properties in 2023 going into 2024, so that you have a realistic expectation about what to get versus the typical glossed over, well-produced social media video that you're going to be able to see out there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABC. Super happy to have you guys here. If you guys watch any type of content on real estate investing, especially Airbnb as of late, it's always been, it's easy, it's passive income, it's mailbox money, it's not that big a deal. And in my 10 years of investing in real estate, I think it's like 10 years, something like that, investing in long-term rentals has not been as easy as the internet has said, and investing in short-term rentals has not been as easy as the internet has said it was going to be, which I kind of thought that was going to be the case, because nothing is ever as easy as the video says. But for Airbnb, the first big hard to swallow pill that you really need to get your head around is that it isn't easy. It's not always hard, but it isn't easy, and it is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a get rich faster than long-term rentals. It's a get rich faster than the stock market and a lot of other investments, but it's not like you're going to buy 1 or 2 short-term rentals and drastically change your life, drastically change the income, in general. When people are saying it's really easy, most of the time that it is. I'll give you that. 70-80% of the time, things are very easy. Stuff works, especially once you get all your systems set up, and that's kind of its own sort of hard part when you first get into this, and you have to learn Airbnb systems, VRBO systems, how they change on a day-to-day basis, whatever property management software you're going to use, any of these other systems, that's just on the front end. But once you're actually in here doing it, you're going to be dealing with guests, you're going to be dealing with contractors, you're going to be dealing with the government and different licensing and changing regulations, as actually we're seeing right now in the Smoky Mountains market, where they are going to start requiring short-term rental permits. They're going to be doing inspections. You're going to be dealing with those crappy softwares. Right now, VRBO is going through a very bad period of technical issues. Lots of features of their website are not working, and so when you rely on these folks to get bookings and those things stop working correctly, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Property management softwares will oftentimes have conflicts with Airbnb and VRBO, and integrated lock systems will have problems. It just happens. And then you'll have problems and crises with your houses, your guests. There'll be pipes burst, well pumps will go out, HVACs won't work, you'll have unreasonable guests. It just becomes a problem. Then there's also things like utilities and just paying bills and such. And every time you add a new property, because always with these videos they're like growth, you can buy one, then you cash out refi, then you buy another one, then you cash out refi that one, and you get investors and you get more. All of these tend to magnify the problems, not just on a one-to-one basis, but it seems like it's like an exponential number of problems, because in my experience, they all seem to hit at once. If I get a problem from one, it seems like I'll get a problem from another one and another one right after each other, even though we've gone through like a period of no problems. And when we're talking about the get rich quick part, a lot of these videos, especially the ones coming out from 2020, 2021, the first part of 2022, and I've even had a couple of these videos where, I've said my cash on cash return was like 80-something%. There was, plenty of videos out there where people were getting a cash on cash return of over 100%, a total return of 200-300% with appreciation and no pay down and such. And those things did happen, but that is not the rule now. In 100% cash on cash return is a thing in the past, and we are still drastically outperforming the stock market, especially once you take into account all your no pay down, your tax benefits and things like that. But rates are up, interest rates are up, prices are up on cabins from when I bought them, from when people in 2019 and 16 bought them. And so you are, just paying more for the mortgage, you're paying more in interest, and your return is coming down. And so when you're looking at those old videos, just know that isn't necessarily the case. And if you're looking at this video 3 or 4 years in the future, may not be the case again. Interest rates may come down, prices are probably going to still go up, but the rental rates are probably going to go up. The insane demands that we had during COVID have cooled off. It's not a crash. It's just they've cooled off. And so for you to get the bookings, the top tier bookings, you have to have a property that is exactly right. Everything's got to be on point, and you have to put the work in to make sure that you're adjusting your prices, minimum stays, and you are doing all the things, staying on top of your cleaners, making sure the places are clean, where you can't just put anything on the market and make money with Airbnb. You can't put the suburban house next door that you got for $250,000 on the market and make the same amount of money that you're making on a $700,000 cabin in Gatlinburg or a beach home. It's just not working that way anymore in the post-COVID era. The second largest hard to swallow pill in Airbnb and also in long-term rental and really any type of real estate ownership is that you don't need to know anything about houses or buildings or building systems, because someone else is going to take care of that for you. You're just going to call and it'll just magically be fixed, and you're not going to have to do anything. It'll just be cell phone business, baby. You can be a big shot with your Lamborghini and all the other things that you've seen on the internet. Far too many people have gotten into the real estate game, and especially the Airbnb game, that don't have any knowledge of buildings or building systems. It's become a very common thing, and a lot of those folks couldn't tell you the difference between a downspout or a P-trap. And my late father-in-law was this way. He was a pediatrician, very respected in his field, but if it didn't involve duct tape or WD-40 to fix it, it was not getting fixed. And there's a lot of folks out there that had a lot of money, because you need a lot of money really to get into this game at this point with the down payments and the prices where they are. And those folks are very, very intelligent typically. Your doctors, your lawyers, your pilots and things like that. They're typically very smart, very well-educated folks, but a lot of times they don't have any idea about common building systems: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, just the exterior, the siding, basements, foundations. They don't know anything about it. And so there's the idea that you can get people to do all this stuff for you. And you can do that. I mean, it is doable. But when you have a problem, first of all, a lot of the times, a lot of these common problems can be walked through with the guests. If there is a tripped breaker, you can walk them through that. I'm trying to think of other situations that I've had, but there are a lot of situations where you can walk the guests through that. If the hot tub's not heating up fast enough, you can tell them that it's fresh water. It's going to heat up at a rate of 7 to 8 degrees because of the way that things are, the way that electric heating works. You can tell them that if the heat pump has stopped working, you can instruct them to switch it over to emergency heat. But you have to know these things in order to be able to tell them that. And then if there is something that you need a contractor for, you need to be able to, inform them of the problem in an informed way. So for one, they can rapidly fix the problem. If you know these systems, you know what's probably going on with it, you know your particular building, you can tell them this is XYZ, this is what I think's going on, this is the equipment that I have, this is the plumbing situation that I have, and so this is what I think is going on. And they can hear that you know what you're talking about, and so they can bring the right tools, they can maybe bring the right parts if they have very good confidence that you know what you're talking about, and so they can get it fixed immediately instead of having you just say the HVAC is broken, I don't know what's wrong with it, or the electric's not working, I don't know what's wrong with it. And then they have to go out there, investigate the problem, maybe or maybe not they have the part on the truck, and then they have to go back to the shop or to the store, get everything that they need, and that takes up time, and it doesn't get things handled for your guests. The best part about all of these building systems is that none of them are horribly complicated, in an overall just setting. HVAC gets a little complicated with, the gases and all that stuff. But all of these things can be learned by the average individual, and especially the very intelligent folks out there that are making a lot of money in these professional fields. You can learn this if you want. In my opinion, if you want to get into the real estate game, you absolutely have to know building systems, at least at a basic level, so that for one, you can hopefully get guests to fix it themselves, or just flip the switch that needs to be flipped. Two, have an informed conversation with a contractor to get these things done quickly. And three, you can know if you are or are not getting ripped off by people, and if the things that they are recommending are reasonable for the problem that you're having. The third hard to swallow pill is that you can be totally remote and never visit your property ever. From the time that you look at it on the internet to the time that it goes on the market, you can just be completely remote and never show up. If this video is helping you out, if you like this type of content, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to hit the subscribe button down below so that it helps out this channel and keeps bringing you content like this on a regular basis. This idea of Just being totally remote is another thing that has gained a lot of popularity. And the reason for this is that a lot of folks don't live near these really high demand vacation rental spots. As a matter of fact, very few people do, and I don't either. But the thing that really gained popularity was just completely never ever arriving. And so they would close remotely. They would have, they would submit their offers remotely, which was highly common in, the COVID, panic type of thing. They would do their inspections remotely, which I totally would never do. I would never make a $500,000 or $1 million investment without setting my eyes on it, specifically me and the inspector being there. But then they would close remotely, which is something I did on all three of the ones that we did. Then they'd have someone go set it up for them. They would have, as things would go on with their listings, they would have the cleaner expect to find all of the problems with the place and a handyman or general contractor fix everything. And like I said, never actually set foot in the property. And I see this as a massive recipe for failure because, for one, like during the inspection process, like I don't know anyone who would reasonably do that. I don't know who would spend $1 million, even if it's the bank's money, on a property and never set foot in it, never be able to put their eyes on it. There are so many things that I pointed out to inspectors that they were like, yeah, I didn't see that. Now, granted, I know about houses, I know how buildings work, and so, that may not be you, that may not be someone else, but I could never, ever not go to the inspection. I don't care if I lived in California and I was buying something on the Outer Banks. I would fly there and look at it. You have no idea how the house works. So when your guests get there and they say, where is the light switch for this? You don't know. Where is the switch for the jacuzzi? Because a lot of times jacuzzis have switches on the wall, and then they also have the control panel on the actual jacuzzi. You have no idea. If there is a problem with the house, if there is a water pipe that ruptures, you have no idea where to direct the guest to go find that water shutoff. And it's just a recipe for a poor guest experience at best, and a severe risk of not being able to mitigate a disaster in a very short period of time. The housekeeper on a day-to-day basis is going to be in and out. They have more things to do than just your cabin. And so even though you think that they're going to notice everything that's wrong with your place, they are not going to notice the details. They are not going to perhaps notice that there is a cobweb way up in the ceiling, because on their normal turns, they're not doing that. They're not looking at every single thing. They're not living in the place. They're there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, frantically getting your place ready before they move on to the next one. There's no way that they're going to be able to take care of the details, and the details are what makes a good listing a great listing. And then you're going to end up paying your handyman for every little thing, and that's going to add up. Maybe you can afford that. Maybe you don't care if it adds up, but if you can get your hands on the place, you can perform a lot of these little minor maintenance items within the first 6 hours of you getting to your place, and then you can have the rest of the time for a vacation that will also be able to be written off as a business expense because you did business work on that trip. And so it's my opinion that you have to know your places, you have to know how they work, you have to be able to go in there and see the little things that are going to go unnoticed by all the other people that you're paying to come in and just quickly fix one thing or do the cleaning or whatever. And you can take care of some minor or even major issues while you are there on business trips. We have done several major upgrades to our place in responding to several major emergencies, like last winter when we had the major winter storm. We had frozen pipes, we had buckled floors. It was an absolute disaster, but we were able to get there to handle those problems and at least get eyes on it and start directing the right people to get there, to call the right people, insurance, handyman, contractors, and things like that. And you know what, guys? If you are buying in vacation rental areas, not just some apartment in the city and not the house next door to you in the suburbs, these are indesirable vacation areas. And so why not go? Why not go and make sure that your place is in the best possible shape for the people that are going to be spending their hard-earned money and their hard-earned vacation days for their 1 or 2 weeks that they get out of the year at your place, to make sure it's the best possible experience that you can give with the property that you have. So guys, if you like this, again, hit the like button for me, subscribe down below. If you haven't been here before, click on these links that are on the screen. They're going to tell you all about the types of cabins that we buy, the systems that we use, how we manage these things from a short-ish distance. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching today. I'll see you in the next one.